Hello everybody on YouTube, I'm Xaldin Wolfgang, also known as the Magician, known as the Master of all Spellcasters. Since I'm really behind on MLP Season 8, I decided to do a roundup review. So here's what I'll do, I'll give out my quick thoughts on each episode, but I'll skip a lot of episodes because I'll give them their own review. So let's start off with Episode 3, The Mod Couple. Oh boy, one of my least favorite writers wrote this episode. My problem with Nick Conflone is that he has an ego problem. When he keeps his ego at home, he can be a fantastic writer. For example, he wrote Saturday Review, Dungeons of Discord, and Forgotten Friendship. But when he doesn't keep his ego at home, he then writes episodes like Party Pooped, No Second Prances, Rock Solid Friendship, and this episode. Now I will say if there's one thing I can give Nick is that he tries to write good lessons. As for my thoughts on the episode, Mudbriar was annoying as hell. He was only there to annoy Pinky. And before you all mention the reference, I don't watch Big Bang Theory. I also didn't like the fact that he was somewhat stuck up. And the moment where he made Pinky cry and showed no fucking regret for it made me pissed. Now there is two good things in this episode. Starlight's role was used well here. And I will say, I do like the lesson in the episode that you shouldn't look at someone in the outside, but in the inside. I will say that Limestone is my favorite pie sister. That title goes to Marble Pie, but I did like the metaphor she used by using a rock. We have wasted so much time on Mudbriar being an asshole that we're left with so many questions that all we can do is either come up with theories or speculations on what mod sees in him. I give this episode a D+. Now I'm going to skip Fake It Till You Make It because I'm going to be doing a collab on this episode. Episode 5, Granny's Gone Wild. Thank God it's not like the episode's title. This episode was mad for me. Now I'm not going to say this episode is bad per se, I just don't really care for it, and I might not go back to it. But before I talk about what I don't like about the episode, let's talk about the good in this episode. The Golden Horseshoe Gals were a pretty great group of ponies in this episode. For those who didn't notice, they were basically referencing the Golden Girls, a classic show in the 80s, but what makes this a good reference is that it didn't hammer it in just like DHX likes to do. And the Golden Horseshoe Girls are a great nod to those elderly who are full of spirit and life, and they try to make the most of their life. Now I'm going to talk about my issues with the episode. Rainbow Dash was one of my biggest issues with the episode. She was only doing all of this just to get on a roller coaster that will be closing down, which I keep wondering, why is it closing down? Is it because it's dangerous? Then why would you let ponies ride it? Is it because you're not making enough money? Well, you're in Vegas. Obviously, it should make a shitload of money. If the episode explained properly why the coaster was closing down, then maybe RD's conflict would have been much stronger. I give this episode a C+. Now I'm going to skip Surf and Turf, not only collab reasons, but for personal reasons. Episode 7, Horseplay. This episode has to be the best episode in this season so far. Now normally I'm not a huge Celestia fan, but however, Celestia's character was portrayed fantastic in this episode, and no doubt Nicole Oliver was having so much fun with this episode. And Celestia's character was utilized much better than any other Celestia episode in my opinion, and some of the jokes were pretty funny. But what makes this episode really shine was the moment with Celestia reminding Twilight of her lessons. And even more moments to shine is when Celestia used her leadership to lead the play back in order. This episode also makes a great small joke, and that's how you do the Celestia troll moments done right. This episode gets a solid A. Now for the next few episodes, I'm going to skip because again, collab and review purposes, which are going to be the Parent Map, Non-Complete Clause, and finally, the Breakup Breakdown. Episode 11, Molt Down. Well, might as well call Josh Haber the new Larson since he gave Spike wings. This was a pretty good Spike episode, not only giving him great character development, but a new design as well. But however, there's a lot of problems with this episode, one of them being the episode's comedy. The comedy was mostly about Spike talking very softly and then screaming on top of his lungs after that. And the other problem is Rarity screaming as well, thanks to a phoenix feather, which raises a lot of red flags. For starters, if a phoenix feather can make a pony lose their hearing, then why didn't Fluttershy or Celestia lose their hearing? Back in the episode Burn the Hoof, Fluttershy was exposed to a phoenix feather and hasn't lost her hearing since. And also, Celestia happens to have a phoenix for a pet, which raises so many questions on why didn't she lose her hearing. I also feel like this episode's humor revolves around screaming, and all this was just Spike going through puberty. So this episode gets a B. So that was my roundup review. So far, Season 8 is not really looking good for me. It might be my new least favorite season, outranking Season 6, but we'll have to wait and see. So, I hope you all enjoyed, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next review.